Another episode of TNA, another episode where Santana is once again not on the show. I mean, at this, what are we doing, TNA? What are you doing? You did the very same thing with Joe Henry at his peak, then you took him off the show, gave him injuries, quote unquote, and you just didn't have him appear at his most popular. You're doing the same with Santana now. You're generally turning a lot of people off because Santana was getting so much momentum. He was getting great crowd reactions from NXT. He was in the best storyline with Mustafa Ali. He was your next star, the guy people wanted to see take the belt off of Trick Williams. Now he's gone. You really couldn't find any better way? Like, imagine if he was in tonight's main event instead of Elijah. It would have been such an insane all-star match, but no. Now, let's just get into the show. Now, tonight was a special episode. It was TNA's 23rd birthday, so it had a lot of special matches. Wish Santana was on this card, but who cares? Let's get into the first match, which was Eric Young versus Sami Callihan, and this was a pretty okay match. I don't know what we're doing with Eric Young, man. He had a lot going for him when he took over the Northern Army, when he was feuding with Steve Macklin, and then we just did some weird ass shit, and I don't know how I feel about Eric Young. Now, he picks up the victory over Sami Callihan, which is good. Sami Callihan rarely appears, and Eric Young needs this momentum a lot more. I just wonder what we're doing with Eric Young. What's his future here? Because he's a great villain. They've absolutely butchered him. Then backstage, we have a promo package, or well, an interview from all the babyfaces in tonight's match. Leon Slater, The Rascals, Joe Henry, and Elijah. And they're talking about all the people they're going to face, except for Steve Macklin. They just say, hey, he's cool. He's the only good guy out of those bunch of assholes. And I like that. It's the only reason I'm mentioning this. Then we had the Order 4 in a fucking amazing segment. The Order 4 stuff is some of the best stuff in TNA right now. Dare I say the best stuff. Mustafa Ali is just... he's something different, man. I'll never get why WWE released the guy. Like, out of everyone on the TNA roster that wasn't WWE before, Mustafa Ali is the one guy I'm like, he could have been so much more. And I hope TNA eventually capitalizes on that. But it looks like the Order 4 is completely over. He goes one by one through all of the members, just scolds them until they all turn on him. So the Order 4 is officially over. And if that's the case, I'm fine with it. He elevated everyone in this faction. Jason Hotch is seemingly now one of their top young stars just from having one match with Mustafa Ali. Tasha Steelz is very interesting. I'm excited to see if she can maybe get into the Knockouts division. Now, next week, Mustafa Ali will face John Skyler, and I believe that'll be the end of the Order 4. I believe that's going to be the end of this whole story because he's the last member that needs to be faced. Unless he gets new members, unless he gets a new Mustafa Ali gets a new partner and another female and they have a 3-on-3 match. But I don't see that being too likely. What I do want to have happen is, though, Mustafa Ali needs to win the Call Your Shot Gauntlet at Bound for Glory, and then Santana needs to defeat Trick Williams in the main event of Bound for Glory to become the new TNA champ. And then Mustafa Ali must just immediately give in that Call Your Shot Gauntlet and win the championship from Santana, and then you build a feud. I think that would be amazing. Then we have the By Elegance brand versus Masha Slamovich and Lei Ying Lee, and I'm kind of digging this team of Lei Ying Lee and Masha Slamovich. I know they're not going to be a permanent team, but I kind of dig them. They have a very cool vibe together. Now, they end up losing the match because Killer Kelly interferes, and Ash By Elegance has a pinfall victory over Masha Slamovich. Now, I think this is cool. I hope this leads to a championship match. I've constantly said the other two girls in the By Elegance brand need to be the tag team, and Ash By Elegance needs to go on a singles run. But I do have a big concern. Why are all the TNA champs constantly being pinned? Trick Williams got pinned on NXT. Masha Slamovich just got pinned. Hell, Moose, his whole run has just been him constantly being pinned. Even in tag team matches where he doesn't need to be pinned. I mean, yeah, it's special when a person pins the champion, but when you do it every single time, it kind of takes away from it. Now, I don't mind this because I mean, you're probably going to have Ash be a future challenger, and it involved Killer Kelly, so it all made sense. I like this whole thing. It's just a little thing I've noticed, that every TNA champion constantly get pinned. It doesn't make sense to me. Then we had Santino come out and he talked to Tommy Dreamer about Mans Warner's attack last week. Mans Warner comes out and he basically says that Tommy Dreamer is old, Tommy Dreamer is washed, Mans Warner is the new innovator of violence around here. And then Tommy Dreamer said, yeah, you know, he's too old to face Mans Warner, but hey, he got someone else. And Jake Something comes out. Now, this was okay. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I do not care about Jake Something. He used to be cool many years ago, but they flubbed him, to be honest with you. There's not a lot there for me to really care about. He's pretty bland. Now, obviously, I think maybe they can make something out of there. I'm gonna be open to seeing what's happening because they seemingly push Mans Warner hard. and he's really good. I'm really starting to buy into him more and more every week. So maybe there's something there. I don't really care for Jake something, if that's all really. Then backstage, Indy Hartwell and Tessa Blanchard have a little confrontation. Nothing big, just the two of them talking about their match last week. They're not happy with each other, and I'm excited for this feud. I mean, they've really pushed Indy Hartwell hard as well, and a feud with Tessa Blanchard can only be good for her, so I'm excited to see that. Then we had The System, JDC, and Eddie Edwards versus Matt Cardona and his mystery partner, the Hometown Man. They're really going for that, aren't they? But it's fine. Like I said, I'm going to give the Hometown Man his credit. He's very entertaining. So Hometown Man actually wins by rolling The System up and getting him and Matt Cardona the victory. Now, then obviously the entirety of The System jumped the ring and started beating him up, but Brian Myers hesitates. He's not willing to hit Matt Cardona, so the rest of the System have to attack him, and I really like that. Like I said last week, I want to see more between Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. I know we've done it before, but I still feel like there's stuff there to explore, and I'm happy we're doing this. And at the same time, I'm also liking how much effort we're putting into each member of the System. Obviously, Moose is the megastar and everybody cares about Moose, but Eddie Edwards has gotten a lot of character work recently. Everything he did with Cody Deaner and how he was sort of being the leader of the System, making sure everybody is in, and now Brian Myers is also having some storylines. I'm really liking what we're doing with the System. This is also some really entertaining stuff. I'm excited to see where this is going. And then in the main event, you had all the champions, Trick Williams, Steve Macklin, the Nemeth brothers, and Moose going up against all their challengers being Leon Slater, Elijah, Joe Henry, and the Rascals. Now this was a pretty solid match. I really liked it, and at the end, the good guys ended up winning. I will say again, I wish Mike Santana was in this match instead of Elijah. I feel like that would have made this such a bigger match, but you know, beggars can't be choosers at this point. Overall, it was a pretty solid match. You know, I don't know what much there is to say. It was just a really good match. Yeah, but if I had to give tonight's show a rating, it's honestly going to be a 6 out of 10. I think there was a lot of good stuff on the card, but TNA recently, not necessarily TNA, but everything around TNA has been very lackluster. Like everything with Trick Williams' championship reign has put a bad taste in my mouth. Like I said, with all those champions constantly getting pinned, I don't know what it is. Something is just not feeling right with TNA at the moment, and I can't put my finger on it. I'm trying to, but I just don't know what it is. Now, I really like the show. I want to see it do good, and that's why I keep watching it. But man, something just doesn't feel right, even when they have a lot of good stuff going on. Now, please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I know it was a bit shorter, but I really didn't have too much to say about this show, if I'm being honest with you. So leave a like, subscribe, and let's get to next week. Hopefully it's a much better show. Goodbye, everyone.